Welcome to Bedtime Bible Studies, number 22. Quick message. I did get a question saying, are you going to continue this come fall? A lot of folks know that I also do adult education, obviously worship leadership, and then confirmation. And they know that adult education confirmation is starting back up. By the way, if you like adult education, it will be every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. We do switch topics. So if you're watching this on Facebook, you definitely want to go look at the events. We're going to be doing pub theology like we always do, followed up Thursday nights at 7:30. Always with something each week. So pub theology will be the first Thursday. Then the month of September, we're going to be doing some sort of basic looks at religion and sort of comparative religion stuff. Then in October and November, we're going to be doing a sort of deep dive into different types of spiritualities. So if that's something that interests you in adult ed, definitely join us for that sort of stuff. You can learn more by going to the events page on our Facebook page. And looking up comparative religions or theological worlds. And definitely plan on it. And of course, pub theology is always fun. With that said, I do want to go ahead and say I am going to continue to do bedtime Bible stories into the fall. Okay, so don't worry about that. This will continue probably until we end the Bible itself, unless something dramatically changes in 2020, which, feels like how 2020 goes. But getting down to business for a second, I want to say a shout out to Kelly and anyone else who was with her. She was right last week. It was Stonehenge. And yes, that is in the United Kingdom. So way to go, Kelly. If you yourself would like to have a shout out here on Bedtime Bible Stories, just go ahead and guess where in the world is Pastor Matt Hacker this week. And if you're the first one to get the country right, then I will give you a shout out. If you get it right, definitely let me know who else you'd like me to give shout-outs to, because I will do that. So if you want to be like, shout out to so-and-so and so-and-so, just let me know. Now, getting to the very important joke of the day. What do you get if you divide the circumference of a jack-o'-lantern by its own diameter? What, you may ask? You get pumpkin pie. If you don't understand the joke, ask your math teacher. By the way, just so you know, educators out there, teachers, superintendents, parents, principals, and such, we pray for you this time of year because of the incredibly important vocation that you carry out as teachers, as parents, as administrators at our schools. And we understand how that itself is a calling by God. So know that we're praying for you as the school year gets started. But moving on to the story of the day. There was once a little girl who didn't get out of bed one morning, or the next, or the next. In fact, she didn't get out of bed for a whole month. She was very sick, and no one knew how to make her better. Jairus was her daddy, and he loved her. One day, he was sitting by her bed, holding her hand, wishing there was something he could. I know! He jumped up to his feet, put on his coat, kissed his daughter, ran down the steps, past the servant, out of the house, through the gates, along the road, into the town, up the steps, into the temple. He fought his way through all the people until, at last, he found who he was looking for. Jesus, he said, falling at Jesus' feet. My daughter, he pleaded, please. But he didn't need to beg because before he'd even finished speaking, Jesus reached out his hand, helped him up. I'll come at once, Jesus said. Jairus' eyes filled with tears. Jesus is coming. It would be all right. In those days, of course, they didn't have ambulances, so they had to go by foot. Jesus' helpers knew that he would heal the sick girl, but they must hurry. If Jesus didn't get there soon, it would be too late. But everyone was in the way, hustling and bustling, jostling and pressing, pushing and shoving, squishing and squashing. The disciples ran ahead, forcing back the crowd. Suddenly, Jesus stopped. His friends looked back. What was he doing? Who touched me? Jesus asked, because he felt power go out from him. Me, said a frail lady, looking down at the ground because she was ashamed. The poor lady had been sick for 12 years, and she had to get well. She knew if she had only touched Jesus' coat, she would be healed. So she touched his coat, and instantly she was well. We don't have time, Jesus' friends said. But Jesus always had time. He reached out his hand and gently lifted her head. He looked into her eyes and smiled. "You believed," he said, wiping a tear from her eye, "and now you are well." Just then, Jairus' servants rushed up to Jairus. "It's too late," he said breathlessly. "Your daughter is dead." Jesus turned to Jairus. "It's not too late," Jesus said. "Trust me." In Jairus' house, everyone was crying, but Jesus said, "I'm going to wake her up." Everyone laughed at him because they knew she was dead. Jesus walked into the little girl's bedroom, and there, lying in the corner, in the shadows, was a still little figure. Jesus sat on the bed and took her pale hand. "Honey," he said, "it's time to get up." And he reached down into death and gently brought the little girl back to life. The little girl woke up, rubbed her eyes as if she had just had a good night's sleep, and leapt out of bed. Jesus threw open the shutters and sunlight flooded the dark room. "Hungry?" Jesus asked. She nodded. Jesus called to her family. "Bring this little girl some breakfast." Jesus helped and healed many people like this. He made the blind people see, the deaf people hear. He made the lame people walk. Jesus was making the sad things come untrue. He was mending God's broken world. The end. Just so you all know, if there is anything you need, please get hold of us. We are here for you. If there's anything you want us to pray for, please get hold of us. We would love to know. We'll add you to our prayer lists. Outside of that, know that there is Bedtime Bible Stories, 6 p.m. Monday nights for the foreseeable future. Hope to see you next week. Have a great day. Sleep well, for God is watching. Good night.